Fred Cohen's Jazz Record Center has been in business since 1983, originally selling vinyl only, now selling vinyl, CDs, books, T-shirts, DVDs, and all manner of jazz ephemera. Jazz Record Center began on the Upper West Side and has been in its current location, 236 West 26th Street, Suite 804, since 1990. Fred is the world authority in valuing and selling Blue Note records. His Blue Note-centric book, A Guide to Identifying Original Pressings, covers such Blue Note minutiae as RVG signature stamps, deep grooves, P for Plasti-Lite, R or no R, ink or no ink, flat or safety rim, Blue Note address, and the pressing variations of each and every Blue Note first pressing. No other book or website documents this info to the exacting last detail of Fred's book, which is available at jazzrecordcenter.com, in store, and also in Japan at Tokyo Disc Union. Fred's eBay auctions are legendary and have set the mark for many Blue Notes such as Hank Mobley 1568, Lee Morgan's Indeed, and John Coltrane's Blue Train. But even before eBay, Fred's auction booklets were mailed worldwide, then is now attracting collectors from all four corners of the globe. The Jazz Record Center is the best jazz-only store on the East Coast, perhaps in the U.S., in my opinion. Fred carries all the new vinyl reissues, including those from the EU, plus domestic reissues, including those from Elemental, Resonance, Music Matters, Blue Note, Analog Productions, Verve, Impulse, and Sam, which actually is from Portugal. Fred's bar for used vinyl and used CDs in the store is also extremely high. Though the store doesn't usually carry high-dollar vinyl items typically reserved for auction, you never know what you'll find in the bins. The day I shot this video, I took photos of these various records out for sale. Why are original Blue Notes so rare and so expensive?
Because everybody wants them. It's a matter of supply and demand.
Why do you think everybody wants them? I'm going
to give you an answer that most people aren't going to like. It's trendy. There's really no rational explanation as to why Blue Note, during the time when Blue Note was recording, would rise above everybody else. You had wonderful record companies, Savoy, Riverside, Prestige, and its subsidiary New Jazz. And in a lot of cases, like with Savoy, they were releasing records by Donald Byrd and Lee Morgan, same artists that were on Blue Note.
Right.
You can never find those records. But if you do, the Blue Notes go for more than the Savoys, and the Savoys are harder to find.
I bought a Lee Morgan Introducing here, Savoy, but maybe it wasn't a first pressing Savoy or something.
No, so the first pressings are easy to see. Laminated cover, red label, and a deep groove.
Why do you think Savoy is also Rudy Van Gelder?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Why is Savoy not as collectible as Blue Note or even Prestige, it seems? Okay. What was the original goal for A Guide for Identifying Original Pressings by Frederick Cohen?
Pre-1983, I had a customer in New York who on occasion would send me a list of records that he wanted to sell. They were all turned out to be in absolutely beautiful condition and all absolutely original. Some were Blue Notes. Most of them were. And I would quote him prices. I would get the records in and find that they weren't necessarily original, and the prices I had quoted him were originals, but he didn't know how to identify originals. So I set about first, I figured I would take photographs of all original labels. Original label, Lexington Avenue, 63rd Street, no ink, 63rd Street ink, New York, etc., send them to him. And that went on for a while, and then I realized that this was only one guy who was as confused as everybody else is about what it is that makes a Blue Note an original pressing. And up until that time, the dealers were not giving out this information. You know, it was held close to our chest, and we wanted, because of the dollar advantage and being able to buy cheap and sell high, you didn't want to tell everything that you knew. But I figured that it can only benefit consumers if they know exactly what it is to look for, but only originals. I didn't care about reissues. I didn't care even the smallest detail that separated or distinguished an original from a second pressing or a reissue. Only wanted to help them look at their records and say, this is original, this is not, or to buy a record that they know is original and not waste money. From years before that, I have a Japanese Blue Note discography that I'd started to make pencil notes in. And I would, mention deep groove or mention ink or flat rim or frame cover. And as I accumulated it, I also have a very good friend who has an extraordinarily large collection of Blue Notes. And when it came to the idea of doing the book, I used a lot of his records for the photos that are in there.
Wow. And where is it available to purchase?
Only here.
Didn't you say they sold it at Tokyo Disc Union?
They did their own reissue of it.
Really?
It doesn't look anything like this. They did it in paperback. You've never seen one?
No. So they paid for the rights to do that themselves?
Yeah.
Wow.
And they reformatted it. It looks very, very nice.
Now, can we in a way blame the Japanese for the Blue Note, endless Blue Note fever? Did it start with them?
They were always into originals, into very clean, preferably unworn pressings. Fastidious collectors. I think that had not the Japanese entered the market or been as interested, that we may not have seen the interest in these records to the extent that we see it today. Because as time went on, when I used to do, for instance, I used to do mail order auctions, and I would produce a catalog that had 2,500 or 3,000 records in it. And this goes back to the 70s, looking at the prices for records that, these same records, absolutely mint condition records that were sold then as compared to now. There's a lesson to be learned, but it was gradual. This was not a big leap. This was year after year after year, starting, let's say, in, I don't know, but today I looked at an auction list, let's say 1990, which is really not that long ago. Sonny Clark, Dial S for Sonny. These are mint copies, $380.
What year is that?
1990. Lee Morgan, Indeed, 1538, mint copy, original, $511. Hank Mobley, 1568, stone mint, $551. Multiply all those times 4, at least. And in some cases, 1558, maybe by 10.
Why has it taken off like this?
Well, now it's simply a matter of supply and demand. That as the value of these records increased over the years, there's only so many of them floating around, and so many of them come on the market. And so people that can afford it, like to have this, go ahead and buy it.